Alright, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is 80-year-old share advice for younger self. I'm guessing for their younger selves, right? This is coming from the channel Sprut. Like thought, but Sprut. Either way, let's check it out.
If you could go back in time knowing what you know today and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say?
People view you as not an ongoing person anymore.
It's sad and lonely. There's no cure and there's no hope.
It's a big mistake.
That's something that I only discovered 40 years into my life.
5 years ago, I wasn't like this at all.
It's hard, bloody hard today. You make yourself miserable.
You want the truth? In this video, I'll be in Montreal, Canada, asking strangers in their 80s, some of the oldest and wisest people in the world, what advice they would give to their younger self. Let's get into it.
Alright, let's go.
How old are you?
88.
What does it feel like to be 88?
Well, I just came back from my cardiologist. I'm in perfect shape physically, but I lost my wife a couple of years ago, so mentally I'm still working on it.
How was that like, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's sad and lonely. I eat most of my meals alone, but I'm doing okay. As long as I'm in good physical shape for another year, that'll be fine. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get there.
Yeah. How long were you guys together for?
63 years.
Well, that's heavy.
It's a perfect relationship.
That's heavy, guys.
You know, my wife contacted ALS. She lived for a year after the diagnosis, but there's no cure and there's no hope, and she had no quality of life. But she opted for medical assistance in dying and went very quietly and with dignity.
What was your favorite memory of her?
Oh, everything. 3 sons and 7 wonderful grandkids. We did a lot of cruising. We were in Vietnam, we were in the Baltics. We had a good life.
What did she mean to you?
Everything?
How old are you?
Alright.
70.
What does it feel
Bro,
like?
63 years? Ooh, that's a lot, bro. Currently, my wife and I are coming up on 10 years, right? But I can imagine, like, not, having her there.
Like to be 70?
Oh, man.
I don't want
It's been a rough year. My wife died at the end of March, and my mother died 2 weeks ago. Otherwise, I'm doing good.
How long were you and your wife together?
35 years. It was a great combination. We did real well. So I kind of lost my mother, who I was with for 70 years. And I lost my wife, with whom I was with for 35 years. So a lot of adjustments.
Can you define the word love?
Wishing the best for the other person.
What is important to you guys at this point in life?
I think for me, now I lost my husband this year. He was 97, and it's very hard to live alone.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is going to be a common, talking point. It's super sad, guys.
Oh, and after you live with someone for 60 years,
right?
Really different kind of living. And everything starts to go. Like your back told me I've got bones broken in my back. I'm like, broken? So that's why I'm with the walker. 5 years ago, I wasn't like this at all. Everything goes. My eyesight is going. But I'm alive. I'm here, and I see my grandchildren, and I see my kids.
All right, I just want to cut in here. It's the first video that we filmed, I think, where an overwhelming number of the interviewees have dealt with loss.
I can imagine, though.
These videos, it's one thing to listen to the advice you hear, but it's also another thing to really think about what these people are saying. We are going to be going through very similar emotions and feelings that they are going through right now. I just invite you to take the time to text somebody that you love. Not text them, honestly. Don't text them. Take time to call somebody, to go make an appointment with somebody that you love. Tell them that you love them. Tell them you appreciate them. And you never know when the last time will be. Life is really short, and all these interviews have been showing me this recently. So I know I'm going to do that after I finish filming this today. So,
whoa.
How does the world look at you differently?
It's just by the age, and if you're 88, you probably have dementia. You have very few interests left in life. People view you as not an active, ongoing person anymore. It's a person who is saying goodbye, you could say.
But you don't feel that way, right?
I don't feel that way. Not yet, anyways.
Yeah. How do you feel about the way people think about you?
I accept it because I know it's the truth. That's what they think. I must have thought the same thing when I was younger.
What have you done in your life to feel this good at this point?
A lot of exercise. I'm in the gym 3-4 times a week, bicycling, walking. Like even now, I'm going for lunch. I'm up to 10,000 steps.
Guys, these days, I'll be glad if I can get 5,000.
My grandfather died when he was about 97, and he remained intellectually active to the very last day of his life. And I'm very busy. I'm writing, I'm doing voiceovers, I'm very, very busy. My days are full. If you know how to channel your creativity and you let others benefit from it, you've defeated age.
I'm also a fine artist, and nobody can tell you when to stop that. So you're in control. It's not like you have to retire from your job. And that, I think, is very, very satisfying in some ways, that you can just keep producing, keep making.
What's the truth about life that you could teach to young people?
If you live in the past, you're depressed. If you live in the future, you're anxious. But if you live in the present, you're at peace and focused on the present.
That everything is impermanent.
Oh, that's powerful.
So let's enjoy this
powerful
moment.
right there, guys.
100%. Everything has a beginning, everything has an end. When we are young, we think that it's never going to end. It's a big mistake.
Enjoy the moment.
Exactly. And also not to be so full of yourself and so proud in the sense of empty pride, what you can do with your body or what your achievements. As you get older, you see that many of those things get weaker, like your body is not as strong, so you cannot do as much. But when you are young, sometimes you look at old people and say, why don't they move faster, Why don't they understand,
Right.
I guess when you are confronted with somebody like that, and then you feel your impatience growing, so that's the moment to practice deep breathing and mindfulness. That's the way to combat stress.
Yeah, like I generally only complain about like the elderly moving fast or slow when they're driving. Like if you're walking, bro, live your life. I'm not here to stress you out, but just don't be in front of me on the road. I beg you. I just beg you. But other than that, yeah. And a lot of what they're saying also, keep this in mind here, they're coming from Montreal, right? It's a completely different culture.
If you could go back in time knowing what you know today and give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would you say?
I say to myself, my husband would come alive again. I'd never argue with him again.
I would want to encourage that guy to be more able and courageous to act on his gut feeling. That's something that I only discovered 20, 30, 40 years into my life. What is this gut feeling that people talk about? It was as if it was a sound that was beyond my ability to hear. I was brought up in an environment and a mindset where you did what you were told, you obeyed. That resulted me in getting into a relationship that I went too far in it because I don't want to disappoint her, don't want to say no. And, my gut feeling was saying, like, this doesn't feel good. I wish I'd had more courage in myself, more confidence in my gut feeling.
What's the lesson or takeaway that you have from that experience?
It's one of balance, not being a total robot and not being a total, inward-looking person either.
If you could go back in time knowing what you know today and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say to her?
No, nothing.
Everything was perfect the way it was because it took me to this moment.
Looking back, what do you wish young people knew earlier in life?
I think you know exactly what you should be doing when you're at this point in your life. You can't say what you should have known and been better at. You can only do what you can do. You'll make yourself miserable thinking that you're not keeping up to what you should be.
What's one thing that when you were younger, you put a lot of importance?
I mean, I get it. She's right. Very right here. But then that means we shouldn't listen to the elders. Like if we follow your statement exactly, then that means we shouldn't listen to anyone else. But in all actuality, how I look at it is these are the exact individuals who we should be looking like specifically up to, right? Getting their insight so we don't make the same mistakes or we can do things better. I do think that that should be a thing. I respect her opinion, right? But I definitely think we should be listening to the people that have lived their life, right? To a certain extent, obviously, because some things are just not fit for the times we're currently in. But I do think that, in fact, this is the most valuable information you could possibly get within 12 minutes and 21 seconds here, guys.
Importance on, and as you got older, you realized wasn't actually that important.
You want the truth? Chasing girls.
Yeah.
And then I met my wife, and we've been married for 45 years. I saw the futility of that. It's a lot nicer to be in a very loving couple than to be chasing women all the time. Don't be afraid to fall in love. Yeah, no, it's true. Some people are. Some people are very sort of, they're afraid of becoming codependent or getting hurt or whatever, but you shouldn't.
You got to risk it.
What's your recipe for living a good life?
I mean, that's valid, most likely there, but I think a lot of men these days are afraid of the United States government, specifically if you're coming from America, right? That contract you're signing in America is very troubling, okay? And it's troubling because of the benefits that certain groups get for just leaving. I'm bored, right? That type of thing. So I understand a lot of men not wanting to get married specifically, guys, but I'm married. I definitely would suggest being married, guys. Just be very cautious and careful with who you get with. Don't lead with your eyes. I think that's what I would probably tell my younger self. Don't lead specifically with your eyes, because you're going to get in trouble, right? You're going to get in trouble. Seriously.
Or getting hurt or whatever, but you shouldn't.
You got to risk it.
What's your recipe for living a good life?
Do the right thing was the number one thing. That was my wife's credo. Keep
That's
your
fair.
chin up, don't be judgmental, and give the other person the benefit of the doubt. Kindness, fairness, honesty. She had it all. She had it all. I mean, I could go on and on. She had it all.
A lot of people my age feel very lost in life. They feel like it's very hard to navigate their life, to figure out what they want to do. What would be your advice to those people? How do they figure their life out or piece it together?
Well, I'm 70 and I feel very much like you do. I mean, apart from wanting to have a really good relationship, which I see after a number of failures, I never really had any major goal. Never really had that kind of a priori list. It's sort of more like, well, what does she like? I learned a bunch of things.
Do you regret that, not having a specific big goal?
At times, I felt I should have had some goals, that were more explicit, because then you can, put your efforts
Right,
at
towards one
achieving-
thing.
Sort of think like, well, maybe if I had them, I might have actually achieved them. Instead, I had quite a few, let's say, minor successes. Yeah, which it is what it is.
My advice to young people, smoke a lot of dope.
Well, not a lot. Not a lot, people. Don't
Especially
smoke a lot.
before going to bed at night, I have either an edible or a joint of indica.
Every night?
Every night.
Every
and
night?
it almost. And it relaxes me. Well, you should. There's a
Okay.
smell in the whole bloody house. You don't really get stoned, I must say. Well, maybe you do.
I mean, I would personally say that's your prerogative, right? But I definitely would not, say that that's like the greatest thing in the world. But either way, do your thing, live your life.
Oh, yeah.
We have to work with what we have and start from there.
How do we figure out what we need?
What costs us the most to do, that's what we need the most.
What costs us? Like energy-wise? The effort. Is that also what
Right.
scares us too?
Yes, scared, bored with, or no, I don't want to bother with that. Well, maybe you have
Maybe
to
you
look
should.
into it.
Don't focus on all the noise that's around you. If there's nothing you could do about the noise around you, find something positive that you could do and affect other people. My expression is, I aspire to inspire.
If you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice, knowing what you know today, what would you say to him?
Develop more personal friendships. Men don't usually have a lot of friends. My wife had hundreds. At her funeral, there were 150 people and 200 condolences on the website of the funeral home. She was really loved, and I know I can do better.
What is the value of community?
The value is very important. The influence is very important. If it's fraught with people who had, their own issues that got projected onto you or prevented you from seeing other opportunities, you're starting at a deficit. My wife came from a very supportive, loving family, very, very social. And I could see the, dramatic differences in how we approach life. And I think she ended up choosing some good people going forward. Me included, I guess.
Invest heavily in your relationships. Relationships are more important than anything else. Having relationships that are good or to someone very close to you is worth everything, more important than anything else. Then from there you go on. But you have to have that. Don't cheat on it and don't run away from it.
Most people are not doing that. It's a very individualistic society right now that we live in, at least for young
Everyone's in
people.
for themselves.
Yep.
Everyone's anxious about being forgotten or not get where they want to get. It's hard. It's bloody hard today. I'm glad I'm not that young and struggling. I couldn't do it. I mean that I couldn't do it.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Listen, our mission is not just to inspire you to live a more fulfilling life through these interviews, but to also give you the tools and resources you need to make it happen for yourself. The way that I was able to make it happen for myself and live my dream life was through creating content. Now, if you're a busy professional and you want to gain the freedom to do more of what you love, to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, and you believe that content creation could be the path to helping you get there, I made a free video for you to help you get started. Click the link in the description to watch it. Thanks again for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. If you could go...
Guys, there was a lot of information. I mean, a lot of information that could definitely help a lot of people who are struggling, with just themselves, right? Like if you think that you are not where you need to be, maybe you're not supposed to be there yet, right? Maybe you just need more time to kind of put things together internally, to kind of push for that type of success, guys. I think that's kind of what I'm taking from this here, guys, right? These are the elders. We should pay attention to them. We should not just ignore them when you see them, guys, right? Or say rude, crazy things about how you're moving too slow, like someone said here, right? I think the wisest person, though, guys, like, I mean, it's her, bro. Pay attention to her words, guys, right? I mean, every single thing she said was basically spot on. Things are definitely much harder now, I would say, at least, socially harder, but they lived a different life, for real, okay? But things are now just socially harder with social media and things like that. This is what's basically making, Gen Z go absolutely crazy out here, guys. Right? But all right, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Again, name of the channel this video came from is Sprott. Sprott. Catch you guys later. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.